Yes. Yes.
The causes of poverty in traditional African society include laziness. So when you are lazy, you, you, you don't tend to work like the way people work, because it is believed that hard work pays. And when you are lazy, you won't get anything from your laziness, just sitting there waiting other people to reap so that you can eat from what they have worked for. You won't benefit anything, you'll become poor. So the second is lack of inheritance. So if someone is the kind of person that depends on inheritance and does not work hard, and maybe the parents didn't have anything to leave for the person or so, the person will end up poor because that person was depending on the inheritance and was not working hard. So being raided, you see, in the traditional African society, there were these raids in between the communities, where a certain community will raid a certain other communities for cattle or for maybe wives or something like that. So when you have cattle and then you are raided, and maybe you have wives or something like that, and then another community comes and raids you, they'll take all your cattle, your wives will be taken to become maybe their concubines, and your children will be taken also to go and maybe work for the other community. Sickness of an individual. So when somebody is sick, prolonged illness is another contributing factor to poverty, because diseases such as epilepsy, paralysis, leprosy, and mental illness render the victims unproductive. So when you are sick, this is when your body becomes weak and you cannot work. You're just there, unproductive. Yes. Natural calamities. Some natural calamities like floods. When there is flood, the flood may come and wipe all of your property. Maybe if you had a big house or something, the flood will come and destroy that house, maybe, and then it'll become, maybe if that house was your main as in ndo sasa ilikuwa ile kitu yako ilikuwa unajipiga kifua nayo, ndio ukiambia watu niko na pesa, hiyo nyumba ikiwekwa kando na floods, you'll become poor. Geographical factors, for example, adverse climatic conditions. So if you are a farmer, for example, you tend to depend on the wet seasons so that you may harvest, so that you may plant your crops and then you'll harvest them. But during the dry seasons, that is when the land is left bare, and that is when now somebody is expected to harvest. But now if the drought is prolonged, and maybe you are expecting the wet season so that you may plant your crops, and then the drought is prolonged, you'll find that you don't have enough moisture to plant your crops, and that will end up making you poor because you are depending on the crops that you used to plant in your farm. Regional imbalance of natural resources. So, regional imbalance of natural resources. I'm not sure.
If your area is does not receive the, if let's say natural resources like natural vegetation, if your area does not have rainfall, you cannot have resources like what? Wood. Yes? And if previously maybe your area had trees, and then all of a sudden you cut them, and then it is during that time there is what? Not even during that time. generally your land is bare. You don't receive rainfall due to the imbalances, because some areas can have rainfall, others cannot have rainfall. So because of the natural resources, naturally vegetation will not grow healthy in your own area. You see these trees here, you cannot find them in some areas in Mutomo, right? Therefore, and this is a natural resource that you can use to be wealthy. So there, most people tend to be what? Poor. Clap for him. Amefanya vizuri.